Hi, I'm Wolfie, and today Mr. Fairclough asked me to talk to you about camp stove safety. Why should you care? Because, according to the National Forest Service, unattended campfires are one of the biggest sources of camp wildfires. That's bad. So, what am I going to talk to you about? Some safety tips for before you use your stove, for when you set it up, for when you use it, and for when you put it away. So let's get started. The first thing you should do before using your camp stove is read the manual. Next, make sure you follow the manufacturer's recommendations on maintenance. Usually that means once per year. If you've done all of that, then remember the Boy Scout motto, be prepared. So make a fire plan for what to do if something goes wrong. So now you are ready to start the stove up. Before you light it up, inspect the device. Make sure the burner holes are clean. Make sure all of the O-rings are in good working order. Use a soapy water mix to check for any leaks in any hoses. Before you connect the canister, make sure that all the valves of the camp stove are in the off position. And place the stove on a stable, fireproof surface. Dirt or rocks are good. Wood or pine needles are bad. Make sure that there are no burnable materials around the stove. Especially spare propane canisters should be nowhere near the stove. And never use the stove inside your tent. Stoves should only be used in well-ventilated areas. Not only can you set your tent on fire, but you can also kill yourself with carbon monoxide that way. If it is windy outside, use only the manufacturer's designated windshield for the stove. And do not be tempted to place a single burner camp stove in a pot to shield it from wind. The pot will reflect the heat back towards the camp stove's canister, which can cause an explosion. When you are ready to light it up, either use the camp stove's built-in ignition or use a long stem lighter to avoid burning yourself. When you open the gas valve, make sure to light the stove right away. You do not want a big gas bubble to form, which could injure you or eat others if it ignites. When using the stove, do not overload it, especially for single burner stoves. A pot that is too large can reflect the heat back at the canister. Finally, do not leave the stove unattended. And do not use it longer than your manufacturers specify. It is safe. These devices are meant to quickly heat things up, not to cook a banquet for 120 people. When you are done using your camp stove, let it cool down before taking it apart. Hot things are hot. Detach the canister when the camp stove is cooled down and store it upright and out of the sun. Then clean the camp stove. Make sure none of the burner holes are clogged. Check for rust and any wear and tear on the O-rings.